Assalamu alaikum. So it's live on YouTube. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Inshallah, we'll be starting in a few minutes. We're just had a bit of a challenge getting this streamed to Facebook, so we're gonna just stream into YouTube and then, but we'll start in a few minutes. Sister Sana, can you just speak so I see if your audio is working?
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Sheikh Ismail?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Very good. Tasneem, just testing your audio. Tasneem? I can't hear you, Tasneem. I can't hear you, Tasneem. Tasneem, I can't hear you. Tasneem again. Tasneem? I see you talking, but I don't get any audio. Okay, let's just test Hiba.
Yeah.
Hiba? Yeah, I can hear you, Hiba. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, Tasneem, now we can hear you. Thank you. Good. All right. All right. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad, khair al-mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Again, my name is Idris al-Bakri, and I welcome you to this regular community check-in. Just give me a second. I'm hearing myself back, so I need to troubleshoot that. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Bismillah, testing again. Can you guys hear me? Bismillah, testing again. Yeah, sorry, I'm still getting. I'm gonna have to join my phone, my audio through my phone because I'm still hearing myself back for some reason. Can you guys hear me? Good. Okay. I think we're good to go, inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Again, والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. So, apologize for the technical difficulties. We are good to go. I'm delighted to welcome you again to this regular community check-in. This is being streamed live on YouTube, and from YouTube it's being shared on Facebook. We had planned to stream it on Facebook initially, but we had some technical difficulties with that. We're delighted to welcome with us a slate of wonderful speakers. Hajj Abdul Tassi, one of our community elders, founders, and a very generous philanthropist and supporter and businessman. Sheikh Ismail Mukhtar, he chairs the MIA Fiqh Committee and is someone that we know very well and love. We have also Sister Sana Rana, who's a teacher and educator who will be sharing insights about how to keep our children engaged and make Ramadan very beneficial for them. Sister Hiba Al-Guptan, who is the chair of the MIA Youth Council. Sister Tasneem Valley, who's from the MIA Board of Directors, and she'll be sharing some of the plans that we're putting in place to engage with the community in Ramadan. So I'd like us to start, inshallah, first with a dua, and I would like to ask Hajj Abdul Tassi to start us off with a dua. So Hajj, tfaddal, go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Thank you for the invite to this wonderful gathering on YouTube. We'll start with the dua. As I say, most of it it's going to be in Arabic بإذن الله. اللهم انزل علينا لطفك أينما ذهبنا ويسر لنا الخير ما كلما طلبنا وهب لنا دوام النعمة وشمول الرحمة وسعة العيش ودوام العافية واجعلنا من عبادك المتقين الأبرار. اللهم اجعل لنا بكل خطوة توفيقا وتيسيرا وأجرا. اللهم اجعلنا مما توكل عليك فكفيته ومما دعاك فأجبته. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك ونؤمن بك ونتوكل عليك ونثني عليك الخير كله نشكرك ولا نكفرك. اللهم إياك نعبد وإليك نسعى ونحفد نرجو رحمتك ونخشى عذابك إن عذابك الجد بالكفار ملحق وإن رحمتك وسعت كل شيء فارحم ضعفنا وتولى أمرنا واحسن خلاصنا وفك أسرنا. اللهم إن الأمر أمرك والخلق خلقك والقضاء قضاءك ولا حول ولا قوة لنا إلا بك. اللهم أنت النعمة وارفع اللهم اكشف الغمة وارفع البلاء والوباء عنا. اللهم كما حصل الأمر بعلمك اللهم ارفعه برحمتك. اللهم أقر أعيننا واسعد قلوبنا وأرواحنا بزوال هذا الداء ولا تطل الشدة علينا وعلى البشرية جمعاء. اللهم اغننا بحلالك عن حرامك وبطاعتك عن معصيتك وبفضلك عمن سواك يا أكرم الأكرمين. ويا صلى الله على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. We have, of course, we are expecting to reach, inshallah, all of us and Ummah al-Islamiyya, Ramadan على الأبواب, upon our doors. And during this year, we feel not only us sad, the whole world is sad. Everyone is around the Islamic world sad about what's happening with masajid and خصيصا and especially the Kaaba, البيت الحرام ومسجد الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وأحد القبلتين مسجد الأقصى وكل المساجد, all the masajid around the world, and they are even in the small towns like in Lebanon and everywhere. So this is making the world meeting or expecting to receive Ramadan a little bit different than what we usually do. And the bahja, the surur, and the ghibta, as we would like to see it like every year where we have been experiencing this. So I've been here, as some of you know, some of you don't. I've been here nearly 51 years, and And I think we wanted to talk a little bit about how when we came here and there was no masjid. I came in 1969 with my mother, may rahimahullah wa rahimallahu amwatakum, bless her soul, bless the soul of all who sabaqana ila al-iman and all your deceased. We came and it's a very difficult, you come from a small town, 1,000 people, where you, in a masjid next door to you, between us, between the house and the masjid, 3-4 houses, and you walk in there anytime you want. And you hear adhan 5 times a day, and that was different for us in here. We felt isolated, and of course, as we are feeling today isolated around the world, and their families cannot be together, and jama'ah cannot be together, Taraweeh is not going to happen unless you do that at home and there with your family. Even with the family today, they don't want you to have more than a certain amount of people doing the salah together. It's hard when you don't have your grandchildren beside you. So the time we came, it was a very tough time. It's not easy. And we were about 10 families. That's all we were in Winnipeg. And slowly we were gathering among more people, and there was a lot of students. Some, not lots, some students came in, and some doctors such as Jamil Ali, and he was a wonderful man. Khalil Baksh was here. Those people, we owe them a lot, and for what they did and how they managed to start in 1975 the mosque Hazelwood, and that was a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We start, of course, going in there, and whoever was able to contribute to that masjid, because that's the place for Muslims in there. We did, and we're very proud of what has established at the time. Saudi Arabia, may Allah protect the Kaaba and protect the Medina. They helped us with some money. I believe that at the time, $40,000, either 20 and 20 or 40 at one time. And that was mission accomplished. We had the masjid, and as everybody knows, the masjid served us for many, many years, and is still serving the entire community. So we say to all those people who did at the time, thank you, and may Allah bless you, bless your family, bless your, rahimallahu amwatakum, bless the souls of your deceased, and inshallah, bimizan hasanat, whoever did something for that masjid. Going fast forward in there, we used to have a lot of gathering in the masjid, especially with my mother, rahimahullah, as I say, and what Taraweeh, and we at the time was a summertime. My daughter, one of the oldest daughter, was 5 years old. Today she's 42. So she was 5 years old. She used to come with us, and she was the only child we had. And we used to enjoy having some kids around there. There was Dr. Denise, her name, Nenise, that is, so they used to be together. She was a little bit older than her, but she was a mentor to her. So today I think we go back to the same way we were the first five years in there. No, not much of activity in there like today. There's not much activity is going to happen other in the homes. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يعني يكشف هذا البلاء وأن يعني تعود الأمور, things come back the normal way, the way it was before, and everybody will be able to go to the masjid, and everybody will be able to enjoy the salah. You see some videos, wallahi, yani, your heart will be broken when you see the older people there knocking on the masjid doors in there, and they dua, and they say, why are we denied to go to the masjid? And subhanallah, يعني المسجد له طعم خاص وطعمه يعني على عهد الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. يعني أنا لا أتقدم على فضيلة الشيخ إسماعيل لما جاء الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى مسجد أن رأى هناك رجل قبل الصلاة، يعني الصلاة ما كانش قائمة، فقال له he asked him, he says, what's wrong? Why are you early in here? He says, زاد الهم علي. So فهموم الدنيا and the depression of الدنيا وتراكمت الديون. He said to him, وتراكمت الديون. The debts became very, very powerful on him. So he came to the masjid to يدعو الله سبحانه وتعالى. فربنا سبحانه وتعالى يعني جاء بالرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم حتى يعلمه الدعاء الذي يكشف حتى يكشف الضر عنك يعني. فربنا الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم taught him that دعاء. So كان يأتي what we're trying to say in المسجد له حالة يعني خصيصا تهدئ القلوب فيه وتذكر الله فيه ويسمع الدعاء فيه. فربنا يعيد هذه الأمور كما كانت من قبل علينا وعليكم وعلى الأمة الإسلامية جميعا وعلى البشرية جمعاء. يعني ربنا سبحانه وتعالى ينجيهم من هذا الوباء وهو رب العالمين. قال الحمد لله رب العالمين، فهو رب للعالمين إن شاء الله. يعني أعوذ بالله من رب الناس، أعوذ برب الناس، يعني إله الناس هو إله الناس جميعا إن شاء الله. وإن شاء الله يخلص هذه البشرية جميعا، هذه humanity من هذا البلاء. So جزاكم الله خير and يعني حفظكم الله, and may Allah protect you, protect all your families and all your loved ones in there, and may this disease doesn't enter your homes and the homes of the Muslimin في أنحاء جميع الدنيا. جزاكم الله خيرا.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Abdul, for your dua and for you sharing with us bits of history to understand that as a community there was a time when we were very few and isolated, and that was then a motivation to build the community, and inshallah this time as well will be a motivation for us to build on what has been established by your generation and those before you. And subhanAllah, this reminded me that, like, I think about your family and other families, that we have families here who have been here for 4 or 5 generations, and it's amazing how much history we've had in this community, in this city and this province. It's quite remarkable. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you and bless your family, your children and your grandchildren. Jazakallah khair. Let's inshallah turn to Sheikh Ismail Mukhtar, who will inshallah help us and share with us some insights about how to maximize our benefit from Ramadan, given the very, very different circumstances that we'll be going through this year. Sheikh Ismail, over to you.
Okay, assalamu alaikum everybody. So nice to see many of you. Unfortunately, because of the situation we haven't been meeting or seeing each other. So thank you for Brother Idris and your team for organizing these weekly community meetings, and may Allah bless you for all your efforts. Now, this Ramadan will be a different Ramadan, and it would not be an exaggeration if I say that the situation we are facing today was unprecedented in the history of Islam. So it's a challenging moment, and we have a situation where our Ramadan this year will be way different than all the Ramadans that we have experienced in the past. But to begin with, I'd like to remind you of a saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Innama al-a'malu bin-niyat." Actions are judged by the intentions behind them. And also hadith of the Prophet, where the Prophet tells us that من هم بحسنة فلم يعملها كتب له بها أجر أو كما قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. So the hadith is telling us that if you intend to do something but you could not, then you will be rewarded for that. Further, I'd like to remind myself and all of you of the Quranic verse, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Be mindful or obey Allah to the extent of your ability. So what will make this Ramadan different is the social aspect. Ramadan is a time where we are engaged intensively in social interactions. People go for Taraweeh almost every day, and the masjid is packed. And every day there is iftar. People are inviting each other. There will be potlucks almost in every mosque. So this is a time of the most intense social interactions. Unfortunately, we will miss that. Unfortunately, we cannot do that. But like any other situation, I think as the verse told us, that we should obey Allah and we should be mindful of Allah to the extent of our ability. So the fact that we cannot go to the mosque for Taraweeh, the fact that we cannot invite people for iftar, does not mean that we cannot do these things. We have, inshallah, the intention, but we can find alternative ways. And I would humbly like to suggest a few things here. Yes, we cannot invite people, but that doesn't mean we cannot interact. What I would suggest to each and every one of my brothers and sisters who are listening, make a list of 100 names, and every single day, with the intention of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, call 3 to 4 people. And if you do that consistently every day, by the end of Ramadan, you have spoken to at least 100 people. And do that with the intention of reaching out and strengthening your brotherhood. And it will be as if you have invited them, as if you have met them personally. So that's something that I would strongly encourage, not only the people you always talk to, but even the people you don't talk to. Just call 3 people or 4 people each day, say salam to them, ask about them, and you will see the real positive impact. And imagine everyone in the community go through this exercise, definitely will have an amazing social experience. Secondly, my dear brothers and sisters, yes, we cannot go for Taraweeh, but we can do it at home. And maybe this is an important opportunity to connect with our own families. Pray with your spouse, pray with your children. You don't have to complete the whole Quran, because this is a tradition that was established by predecessors. It is not a requirement. You can simply read the short surahs, or if you choose, you can read from the Quran, as many scholars have indicated its permissibility. So we can do this at home, inshallah, with good intention. This will help improve our family connection. Further, my dear brothers and sisters, the money that we spend every year on iftar, we can send that money, or we can donate that money for charity. If we spend 1,000 or 2,000 for iftars each year, then that money can be donated for a charitable cause. There are many people who are under financial distress. Our organizations are suffering financially. So that money we allocated for iftar, let's donate it for charitable and good cause. So the point I would like to make, my dear brothers and sisters, yes, there are certain things we cannot do as usual, but we can find alternatives by calling each other, by donating, and by praying together as a family. And further, My dear brothers and sisters, this will give us an opportunity with the extra time that we have to contemplate, to reconnect with our own selves. In the busy world that we have been living, many times we are talking with everyone, but we are not talking to ourselves. So it's an opportunity to introspect, but also an opportunity to connect with the universe around us. We are in the spring season. You see amazing change happening in our surrounding. This is the time to take a moment to reflect, to think, to ponder, and to strengthen our faith and our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, it's a difficult time, but despite the difficulty, we can make some good strides in our journey to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in our journey towards the fulfillment of our duty. The last point I'd like to make, my dear brothers and sisters, let's always remember that acting in a reckless way is not acceptable Islamically. Yes, it's good to be courageous. Yes, it's good to have to put your faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but that does not mean in any way or shape or form to act in irresponsible and reckless way. The risk we have today is not just to ourselves, but we could be putting other people at great risk. We have seen many stories of one individual spreading this dangerous virus to hundreds of people, and I or you would not want to be the cause or the reason for the death of elderly or other people. So, my dear brothers and sisters, please, during this Ramadan, do not fall into the temptation. Let's gather in our basement and do Taraweeh. Taraweeh is recommended and it's good to do it in congregation, but if there is no risk. If there is any risk, you will be better off, and also even with your intention, your reward will be better when you pray in your family and safeguard the life of other people. So let's, inshallah, during this Ramadan, be careful and be diligent, and let's, inshallah, reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make dua, especially during the time of iftar. We are told this is one of the most precious moments. And also during the last third of the night, when everybody is sleeping, we can wake up when nobody is watching us. It's between us and Allah. Sincerely make prayer for our own souls, for our own families, for our own community, and for humanity at large. May Allah protect us, protect our family, protect our loved ones, and thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Ismail, for that reminder. I just want to also let everybody know that if you have questions for any of the speakers, you can, in Zoom, there's a feature where you can raise a virtual hand and I can see it, or you can type them in the chat box as well. Sheikh Ismail, we did receive a couple of questions. One is whether people should just not fast in Ramadan because of we're living in a pandemic. So we're talking about people who are generally otherwise healthy, but the idea was that fasting could somehow weaken their immune system. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is, in dealing with issues, we should always take a responsible and professional approach. And in the Quran, we are clearly told, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask people of dhikr, scholars say people of knowledge. So in this matter, people of knowledge are the professionals when it comes to the health aspects, and also people who have deep understanding of the text of the Quran and Sunnah. What I warn you, my dear brothers and sisters, is not to take your guidance from Facebook posts or from simple Google from somewhere or from some random email coming from there and here. In North America, we have bodies of scholars and medical professionals who have been guiding the community and who have been advising us at every stage of this crisis. The general advice given from what I know, and you can confirm with your family doctor or somebody who is in the medical profession, is that simply fasting does not put us at a risk of being infected by this disease. So fasting should not be any any source of concern for any one of us who are fasting. But if you're fasting and you feel that you have fever or you have any issue, definitely in Islam, you shouldn't, if you're feeling sick, you have the option of breaking your fast and making up for that fasting at another time. So we have two situations. One situation, if you're ill. If you're ill, definitely break your fast in consultation with your doctor or physician. But in principle, because there is this pandemic outside, it doesn't mean that we cannot fast. There was a clear direction issued recently by a group of physicians and scholars that if you are not ill, then the fact that there is a pandemic outside does not put you in risk and does not justify breaking your fast.
Another religious type question is people are asking, and this has been coming in a steady stream of questions. If there is someone praying Taraweeh in one location and streaming it virtually, can people in their homes follow that Imam in prayer?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, from what has been issued by the scholars, that this kind of remotely following someone is not valid from the fiqh point of view. And as I said, to pray by yourself or with your family is not complicated. You don't have to complete the 30 juz'u. Allah will judge us by our intention and by our niyyah. So if all what you know is the short surahs of Juz' Amma or even the short surahs of Inna A'tainaka or Qul Wallah, just read by them. That's sufficient. The intention itself is more important than putting yourself in difficult ways. So I think from my knowledge, the position is that this kind of prayer where the Imam is far somewhere else and that there is no direct connection would not be valid from the fiqh point of view.
Jazakallah khairan, barakallah feek. Thanks for your advice and for the reminder. Let's turn now to Sister Hiba. Sister Hiba. I'm going to unmute you. Sister Hiba is, mashallah, a very active sister in our community, and she chairs the MIA Youth Council. And I asked her, and she's kindly agreed to join us today to share some reflections of someone who's young and leading the youth in terms of how Ramadan might look like for young people in our community. Go ahead.
So, assalamu alaikum, everybody. I just want to start off by saying that we are all in this together. It might feel like we're all alone and separated, but the beauty of the social connectivity that we have and through social media and through the internet is this is a time where some of us have never felt more connected to people, alhamdulillah. But with that comes, when the pandemic comes, it is taxing on people's mental health and on just your productivity at home. I know for myself, having the news on 27 was just not something that we can handle in our house because it's just a constant barrage of bad news after bad news after bad news. And so we've now, in my house, established that there's a set time during the day where we watch the news and that's it. The rest of the time is to do what we need to do. I myself am going through final exams, so trying my best to study. I do want to mention that to the youth, and most of you, I believe, are active on social media, and you're seeing that there's a lot of posts saying that this is the time to be at your most productive.
Can you maybe come closer to the mic? You're breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear? Is it okay now?
That's better. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. And so this is a time where a lot of people are posting about how you should take advantage of the fact that you are at home and be your productive. And some of the posts should come and ask this time and do phenomenal things, but it's remember that we're all living through a pandemic. It's not a holiday. Okay. And so we're all being subconsciously influenced by sort of all of the outside influences in our homes. So it does have an impact. It's okay to just do nothing, to take a moment to relax and reflect and I actually have a few tips during Ramadan for the who are going to be fasting and going to school and enjoy family time and the very impactful Ramadan. And so the first would be to establish a routine, establish some sort of normalcy in your lifestyle. As this is a very extraordinary time, having some normalcy in your life can sort of ground us and keep us stable. And so establish work times, school times, keep sort of your schedule to a 9 to 3, school, and 5 you're working, and that's sort of the time where you try to do as much work as you can. After that time, establish some off-internet time. Obviously, for some of us, our screen times have gone up exponentially within the past couple of weeks. And so it's nice to sort of from the internet a little bit, just have time to sit with your family, have some time to be able to, for those that are like there's a time where you can call, reach out to people that you know, or just time for yourself. We were doing our hustling, we're always putting up things that we want to do. I'll think about this later. I will about this later. This is time to sort of do that. And check in with your friends and loved ones. A simple message, a simple call, if you're able to, and just talk about your experience. Talk about what you're feeling, talk about what you're hearing, and that sort of thing. Find ways to reach out into the community. Is the fasting social charity, and some amazing who are using their talents and their skills to fundraise money for charities locally and globally. We have people who are making and delivering their baked goods to people who are willing to pay for them. We have people who are selling their artwork. We have people who are just I know I am part of a group of adults who are doing this 30-day workout session. At the end of the workout session, we are all going to donate as money to a charity. Sort of a way to keep connected and at the same time.
Hey, the audio quality is very, very poor. I'm not sure what's happening, so I suggest that maybe we just interrupt you here and maybe come back at the end and see if the connection improves.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure what's happening, but it's really, really choppy.
Okay.
We've never had that before. Yeah, and we may just try to do something to try to boost the bandwidth in the meantime. So just hold tight. Thanks, Hiba. And
Okay.
well, if it doesn't go well today, we can do a repeat, inshallah, with you as well. All right. So again, thank you, Hiba, for that. It's unfortunately we had some technical difficulties with audio from your end. We're using internet lines, and sometimes they vary in speed from different parts of the city or whatever, or just for different parts of the day. Let's turn to Sister Sana Rana, who is an educator, and she's prepared, mashallah, a very nice PowerPoint in terms of how to actually engage children in Ramadan, and I'm going to be sharing it, inshallah, myself from my laptop. Just give me 1 second. So, Sister Sana, you're unmuted now. You can go ahead and start, and just give me a second to share the PowerPoint.
Sure. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I just want to thank MIA for inviting me on this panel today. I'm very excited about this topic. Before I begin my presentation, I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. I'm sure many of you don't know who I am. So my name is Sana, and I am a teacher here in Winnipeg with Pembina Trail School Division. And I've been teaching for 11 years, but I've been programming for children for over 15 years. And I'm also a mom of 2 young kids. I have a 3-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter. So I'm always trying to think of activities to help engage them, help them learn about Islam, but also general knowledge as well. And in my free time, which I don't have a lot of, but when I do, I create digital Islamic resources for kids, and I document my experiences with preparing materials for kids and how to engage them on a blog that I have on Instagram called Miss Sana Teaches. So if anything I say today is of interest to you, please connect with me on there. So today I've been invited to talk to you about some activities that you can do with your kids during Ramadan, just to get them into the Ramadan spirit. And we have all this time at home now with them. And I've also been asked to share maybe some tips for parents who have little ones running around, and how we can also be productive and have a productive Ramadan with young children running around. So Brother Idris, is the PowerPoint ready?
Yeah, give me 1 second. There it is.
Okay, so we can go to the next slide. And so if you do want to connect with me later, just find me. You can email me, or you can find me on Instagram, and my information is right over there. So if we can go to the next slide. So the 2 things that I'm going to be talking about today is tips for having a productive Ramadan with young children, and also some ideas for Ramadan activities you can do with children. And I want this to be a very practical talk. So anytime I can link you to some resources that I know of, I will inshallah do that as well. So my first tip, and the next slide, is create realistic, the next slide after this. Tip 1 is create realistic goals for yourself. And this might seem very obvious, but oftentimes we go into Ramadan with high hopes and goals that we want to achieve before the end of the month without making a plan for actually how we are going to achieve those goals. So the problem with creating unrealistic goals is that if we don't end up achieving them, we feel defeated, or feel sad, or feel like our Ramadan didn't go well. So something we need to do is ask ourselves, look at your life, and what is realistic for you to do within the context of your life. Think about the ibadah that you're already doing. And in Ramadan, we want to increase our ibadah, but it needs to be realistic. For example, if you don't read Quran every day, you can make the intention, I want to read Quran every day in Ramadan, but it might not be realistic for you to say, I want to complete the Quran 2 times if this isn't a habit that you have already. So what is something realistic that you want to achieve? And any goal setting professional will tell you to write down your goals. So Brother Idris, if you go to the next slide, I would recommend everyone writing down and actually planning out what are the goals you want to achieve. And it can just be a piece of paper that you stick on your fridge. When you write down your goals, you are more likely to achieve them because there is a focus, and you can keep on track. And I just wanted to point out this resource on the Islamic Relief Canada website. Every year they have a free Ramadan action plan that you can download. If you want a physical copy, you can make a $5 donation and order a physical copy from them as well. But it is amazing. You can track your prayer, you can track your Quran. There's tips and hadith of the day to inspire you. So this is one tip that I have for everybody, is to create realistic goals, plan for your goals, and inshallah we will achieve them. My second tip on the next slide is think differently about ibadah. So oftentimes as parents, we compare the ibadah we used to be able to do before we had children to what we're able to do now. And we feel the sense of loss or sadness. I used to be able to do this, and now I'm so busy. I have kids running around. I can't do as much ibadah. And I think Sheikh Ismail alluded to this as well, that if we wake up with and make the intention of, all things that we already do every day, they can be rewarding for us. For example, ordinary acts of worship, like Sheikh Ismail talking about, connecting with people, or raising your children. Those are acts of ibadah. So if we make the intention that we are doing these things for the sake of Allah, then inshallah they will become rewarding acts of worship for us, things that we're already doing. So of course we want to have some alone time and make ibadah alone, but we also need to maybe think about what we're already doing as parents that are already acts of ibadah, and kind of reframe what ibadah looks like in our day, and make those intentions so that everything we're doing is beneficial for us. My third tip is make every moment count. So, often we're so busy with our kids, and we're busy with doing things around the house, that we're thinking that, this is taking time away from ibadah, but do things while you're doing other things. For example, if you're doing the dishes or cooking, you do dhikr, or listen to a podcast, or listen to Quran, or recite Quran while you're doing these things. So you could be doing two things at the same time. And my final tip is to include your children. So sometimes as parents, we see our children as a barrier between us and ibadah. My kids, they're always on, we always have to attend to them. I don't have time for ibadah, but include your children. And Sheikh Ismail talked about this as well. Use this as an opportunity. Don't see your kids as a barrier, see them as an opportunity to do things as a family, teach them how to pray. Our kids are sadaqah for us. So, instill those values, instill that knowledge in your kids, and, use this time to do things as a family, do dhikr as a family, have a small halaqah as a family. For me, shifting my perspective of ibadah from something that I can only do alone to a more family-focused perspective has helped me feel better about doing ibadah as a parent with young children running around. So those are some tips that I've kind of come across over the years, and helped me make my Ramadan more productive. So I hope those are a few tips that will help other parents. Next, I'm going to share some creative Ramadan activities that you can do with your children at home. So the first one is to bring the masjid home. So as we know, we're now not able to go to the masjid, unfortunately, but this is an opportunity for us to bring the masjid to our home. And I would suggest having a designated space in your home for you and your children to pray and do dhikr. And you might already have this space, and it could just be, a prayer mat in the corner of a house or in a room. And, you have some Islamic books and activities. And so your kids know that that's a place where we go to pray. These are two pictures of some ideas that you could also do with your kids. And I always have my teacher brain on. So I'm always thinking of extension activities to do. So, in that first picture, have them build a masjid out of a cardboard box and use math, design the masjid, measure it out, use length and width, learn about the directions, about the qibla. Why do we pray towards the qibla? Talk about the story of when the qibla changed. Something easy in that second picture you could also do is just tape washi tape onto the walls and create a masjid outline, and just so that there's that visual for children and gets them excited and they're drawn towards it. So that's my first tip, is bring the masjid into your home. My second tip is decorate your home for Ramadan. And it doesn't have to be anything. So Brother Idris, if you can go to the next slide. It doesn't have to be anything extensive. But for me, I believe as a parent, it's a duty for my children to see Ramadan and Eid as special and meaningful. My kids start talking about Ramadan weeks before, because they know when Mama brings out, our Ramadan calendar and the lights, that something special is happening. So even if it's something like, making lanterns together, or just hanging a few lights just to make it feel special. And on the next slide, I've actually listed a bunch of there, alhamdulillah, there is no shortage of Islamic decor now. 10, even 5 years ago, it was very hard for parents to find any Ramadan or Eid decorations. And now, alhamdulillah, there's so many shops out there, and this isn't really an obstacle or barrier anymore. So I've listed some Canadian and US and even international shops. On the right-hand side, there are 2 websites that I recommend if you just want to print things. In your home, you can help your children just make some creative do-it-yourself decorations. So HelloHolyDays.com is a really great website. There's a sister named Manal, and she's kind of like the Muslim Martha Stewart, and she has some wonderful art activities and things that you can do with your kids. So that's my second thing that you can do with kids in Ramadan. The third thing is Ramadan calendars. So if you go to the next slide, marking down the days of Ramadan and counting down to Eid is something fun to do for kids. And this is kind of become a trend now where parents hang a Ramadan calendar. So you can see my daughter in that picture. This is our Ramadan calendar. Every day I put like a good deed that she has to do, and she takes it out. And so it's also an opportunity for them to learn. For older kids, you can put a dua in each pocket, and every Friday there might be a treat or a sticker or a small toy for them, and they just get excited to count down to Eid and mark off the days that are going by, and also use it as a learning opportunity. And so this has kind of become a tradition in my house that before iftar we see what's in the calendar. So on the next slide, you can see some examples. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. You can there are many shops that sell these calendars, but you can also make them yourself. So the second one you see there, Little Wings Creative, you can just go to her blog and you can just download one, and then it's just a piece of paper and you're marking off the days. Hannah, the fourth picture there, she just created her own. You just have some envelopes, and inside you can have a different dua day or a good deed to do every day. And so it's just something fun for the kids to do each day before iftar. My next tip is to create Ramadan cards or favors for family, friends, and neighbors, especially now that we can't see them. It's great. It's a great activity just to have your kids make cards for them and mail them out. So this is an opportunity for them to practice letter writing, something that they learn in school. And so you can share the significance of the month with your neighbors, just drop something off for them with a letter or a card. So that's another activity you can do. Number 5 is look for the Ramadan moon. And this is something, I think this is a practice that we don't engage in. It's kind of been lost over the years, where we actually go and look for the Ramadan moon. I know sometimes it's very hard to see, but just to teach kids about why do we look, how does Ramadan start? Why do we look for the Ramadan moon? And some extension activities are, you can learn the dua for sighting the new moon, or learn about moon phases. So this is another activity you can do. Number 6, Ramadan books. Alhamdulillah, there are so many Ramadan books now on the market. And so every year what I do is I gift my kids a Ramadan book at the beginning of Ramadan. And there's so many books that I haven't run out of books to purchase for them. But you can use these books to build literacy skills. On the next slide, I list some Ramadan books that you might be interested in, and they're very easy to come across. Even Amazon or Chapters online, you can find these books there. And there's a Canadian shop called easterntoybox.ca, and it's an Islamic store online, and they have a lot of books and gifts for that are Islamic based that you can purchase as well. One tip I have as a teacher is whenever you have a book and you want to do some activities with them, always check online for resources, because chances are that the author or a teacher or a parent has already created a resource package for them, and then you can just print it off and use them for some more learning. Number 7 on my list is Ramadan baking. And I know, alhamdulillah, Muslims come from all over the world, and we have our own kind of traditions that we do at Ramadan, including food. So engage bond with your children, bake or cook Ramadan treats with them and dishes together, teach them about the traditions that you have in your family. This is also an opportunity to work on math skills, measuring ingredients, and also literacy skills like writing out recipes. And you can bake for family and friends, and it's another activity you can do. And number 8 is Ramadan goals for kids. So just as I said, it's important for adults to create goals for ourselves. There's also, you might also want to set goals with your kids. Maybe they're going to be learning, 5 surahs before the end of Ramadan, or this is the dua you're going to learn today. So simple, achievable goals for them. Track their progress and celebrate their achievements. So these really neat pictures you see up here, I got from, there's a sister, and she makes wonderful printables for that are Islamic themed. And so you can go to her website, quotelevin.com, and these are all free. So she has if you see the third picture where it's a daily ibadah chart, so you can actually print it out and, track, are your kids praying their salah every day? And you can add that, they made dhikr or they said a dua. And the middle picture there, you can give them a little certificate for achieving something. And then that first picture is like a weekly planner for them. And so she makes them in very, visually appealing for kids. And so this is another resource you should take advantage of. Number 9 is Alhamdulillah tree. So, in this time we're home and everyone's talking about being grateful for what you have, showing gratitude. We have so much blessings from Allah that we are so thankful for. So teach your kids to say Alhamdulillah. And so this is another cool thing to do with your kids. Just get some branches and cut out some leaves, and every day they add something that they're thankful for, something to say Alhamdulillah for. So just encourage them to show gratitude. And it doesn't have to be an actual tree. You can just, write it on a piece of paper. What are you thankful for today? Let's count our blessings. And the last activity I have or thing to do for kids is Ramadan basket. So this is kind of a trend right now where parents are setting up a Ramadan basket. If you have like a Ramadan corner in your house, and you just kind of fill it with things that the kids can do throughout the day. So they might have their Quran in there, might have their whatever books, Islamic books, and also some stationery and activities to do, so that they have something to do all day and they know where to go to access this learning. So that's something else you might think of doing, just have everything ready for them. And I think the last slide I have here, I thought I had a slide that showed some resources. No. Okay. Well, I just want to tell you, when you go online, there's a lot of resources that you can print. Islamic Relief right now, they have a kids kit where you can print a package full of Ramadan activities. So that's something you might want to check out. But if you have any questions later on, you can always email me or find me on Instagram. On Instagram, you can actually see how I use these things in my daily life with my children. So I hope some of those tips were useful and gave you some ideas on how to make Ramadan exciting for your kids and make it more productive for us as parents with little ones as well. Jazakallah.
Thank you very much, Sister Sana. And I very much actually like the Alhamdulillah tree. I think that's something that even as adults should probably implement in our lives in this reflect on things we should be grateful for. Did get one question about any suggestions for older kids, thinking maybe kids in their teens, teenagers. Do you have any thoughts on how to engage that particularly challenging the age group?
So there's something that's actually really popular right now is, Alhamdulillah tree for older kids, there's actually gratitude journals. And so every day you kind of think about what you're thankful for, and you can, journal writing is something that I would recommend for those kids to do. And also that the planner that I showed, for older kids, they can probably do that independently. So they need to set goals for themselves as well. What are they able to do every day? And maybe if they have younger siblings, help them to achieve some of these goals as well. So I would suggest doing, a gratitude journal, just to write down their thoughts every day during Ramadan and what are they grateful for. It's also a keepsake for this time right now. I know a lot of people are during this, COVID-19 pandemic, everyone's this is a time in history that is going to be in history books. So what are we doing? What does your life look like right now? So just writing things down, creating goals for yourself, doing their own ibadah in whatever capacity they can, and just making it realistic, just like adults would do.
Very good, Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, Sister Sana. That was very helpful. If it's okay with you, would like to post some of these resources on our website and share your PowerPoint, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Jazakallah khair.
Wonderful, thank you. Because we're getting several requests on the chat box to share this more broadly. So Jazakallah khair.
Okay, awesome.
And again, if there's any other questions, we can always bring the speakers back and ask them. So feel free to post your questions on the chat box. So I'm going to turn things over to Sir Tasneem Valley. But before I do that, and she's going to talk a bit more about the programs we have prepared for Ramadan. Before I do that, I just wanted to share a few things. So one thing, just to let you know that we do have a special website, a page on our website for Ramadan, and it's gone live now. So it's mionline.org/Ramadan. You can find the dates of Ramadan, the first day of Ramadan, the first day of Eid, the first day of the last 10 nights. Typically in the past we would have had Taraweeh locations and so on, but unfortunately this year it's a little different. Also have some really neat shareable posters. For example, this one that says, Ramadan at home, all the things that you can do, read Quran, make dua, pray Taraweeh with your family, stay active, and so on. And plus the Ramadan schedule, the prayer timings, as well as some of the fiqh issues, the religious issues we had mentioned earlier. We actually have statements on there from our local and as well as Canadian and international scholars. So please do check it out. Also, an innovative way to support the MIA and the masjid is for next Sundays is to order lunch, to change the routine and order lunch. We're working with a professional caterer and a professionally commercial kitchen. So you can go to the to MIonline/meal-deals and order lunch, and $5 will be MIA will receive $5 for every order that you put in. Inshallah, if it's successful, we'll try to expand that into Ramadan as well, where you can eat out at home for iftar, inshallah. And again, just a reminder, we have a variety of programs online. Every Friday, we have an Islamic reminder. We also have programs for kids, such as the Prophet Stories or Paint Night. And then Sheikh Ismail, for the next 2 weeks, will be continuing his reflections Surah Yusuf every Saturday evening. And there'll be more programs coming as well, inshallah. So I think I'll turn things over to Sister Tasneem to kind of just share with you some of the ideas that we have for Ramadan, for the virtual Ramadan, for programs in Ramadan. And so Tasneem, you can go ahead. And I think that the idea here to share with you some of the plans we have, but also to solicit your feedback and your input in terms of the things that you would like to see.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I just want to say it's amazing to see the community together. We have over 30 people on YouTube watching us right now, so that is amazing. So I just wanted to start with the virtual programming has been received it's very popular, especially the children's programming. So currently we have Prophet Stories with, again, an educator, Taj, and that will continue through Ramadan in the same time. We will also be adding everyday duas that, you will start your kids learning. So for example, the dua to, like Sana was talking about, to see the moon, or when you're leaving the house, things like that. So we will be starting that, and we will have a sister teaching us the dua and maybe telling us a little bit about it. We also are planning arts and crafts that are Ramadan based virtually for children. So there, and ladies halaqa, tajweed classes. So we have a lot coming. Inshallah, we will publish the schedule soon. And if you have any ideas, please let us know. We are also going to actually, this I'm very excited about, have videos for different cultural backgrounds and what they would make for iftar. So like a very easy half-hour prep of what somebody would have for iftar, and you could try it in your home with your family and, dine out, but you're making it yourself. So just a lot of fun things. So if you have any suggestions, please hashtag virtual Ramadan, and you could post it on Facebook, you can post it on Twitter, anywhere, and then we will respond to it. So Idris, can we have our PowerPoint, please? Like Sana was talking about resources for children, I have a few resources that I have used past Ramadan, because, you know, our lives were busy, we working, and, you know, we're sleep deprived. So we don't have time to maybe achieve all the goals we set out to achieve. But there are so many tools now that we could use. So for example, I have a few websites that I use, and Idris, PowerPoint.
I don't think I got a PowerPoint from you. If you have it, you can share it yourself.
Okay, give me 1 second. I will open it. Sorry about that. Use just 1 second. Okay.
You should be able to click on the screen
Yeah,
share.
yeah.
I just enabled it for you. Yeah.
That's okay. And I'm going to try doing that now. Oh, hold on. So, sorry about that. Just 1 second. Okay, so share screen, right? Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, so one of the sites that I use is Yaqeen Institute. They're basically lectures, articles, infographics, a lot more. Last Ramadan, you could subscribe, and they had like a 15-minute reminder or 10-minute reminder every day of the week. So day 1 of Ramadan, day 2, and these are very good, just so when you're when you're up in the morning, you're missing your coffee, you sit down and you get the reminder, and it kind of sets the tone for the entire day. You're positive, you're thankful. And then as you go through Ramadan, they kind of talk about, okay, these are you're done the 10 days, you're probably kind of feeling a little slump now. So this is what we should focus on. This being a very different Ramadan, I think it's going to be very effective to sit down and just listen to just 10 or 15 minutes first thing in the morning on what everybody is going through together. The other thing is, the one thing I really liked what Sana said, and even Sheikh Ismail, about maybe we set the goals that we want to finish reading the Quran or reciting the Quran every day for, 1 jaza every day for 30 days. That has always been my goal. And then sometimes you cannot achieve it. I understand we're all home, but there are other things that we are possibly doing. We have little ones, or we have older kids, or we're still working from home. So Quran.com is a really great website where it has all the surahs in ascending order, and then it gives the name of the surah and an English translation of each verse. So while maybe you are preparing iftar, you could actually listen to the surah and it work on your tajweed, and also listen to the meaning. And that way maybe you're not sitting down and reading it, which would be obviously something that would bring you joy. This is one thing that you could do, maybe if you can't do a lot. The other thing is a hadith online. I personally like to do Quran and hadith together during Ramadan. A lot of times we do recite Quran, and we don't read the hadith as much. And this is a good site to go to, and just maybe every day read 1 or 2 hadiths. Like as you're working from home, you're working between meetings, you have 10 minutes, go to this website, and it divides the hadiths according to categories, and it lists them according to the books. And they're just good to know about certain issues that we might face in our lives, and something you have read. And of course it is supported in English, Arabic, and Urdu. These are the 3 languages. The other thing is duas.com. So just we will be having duas for kids to learn everyday duas, but even adults, as adults, sometimes we haven't learned the du'as, or maybe we don't practice them. This is the perfect time to learn the du'a. Like when you get up in the morning, when you sleep, when you're going to the bathroom, when you're leaving your house, well, not leaving the house so much now, but still, when you drink milk, when you eat food, everything can be ibadah. And this is a good way to bring that peace in our lives, because anytime I think any of us have that connection to Allah, it just brings peace to us. And you can search according to the categories that are listed. So it's a very helpful du'as, and you can print them as well. The other thing is the 99 names of Allah. So this site actually explains the 99 names, and what I like about it is references the hadith and verses from the Quran where the names are mentioned, and there's an explanation. This is something that takes maybe 5 minutes, and you do 3 names with your kids every day. Maybe just as you are sitting down for iftar, or maybe just after suhoor while you're waiting for fajr. Learning the 99 names of Allah is just a powerful way, again, of knowing Allah and bringing Allah into our lives. This is another site that I like, is 1001 Inventions. And sometimes children just need something different. And this is, I know schools don't teach the scientific achievements of the Muslim civilization. And I think it's important for our children to understand that, before the Renaissance, there was a time when Muslims did invent and they read, and how valuable learning and knowledge is, especially at a time when their schools are closed. At least my teenagers are uninspired by working. They do the bare minimum right now. So maybe this might get them going. These books are also, you could order books online at Amazon. And this website is really good. It has charts, and it's just good to go through. And then there's a muslimheritage.com. Again, it's about Muslim history and culture. Where did zero come from, and what is just different things, like we were talking about with my children, quarantine. Quarantine came from an Arabic word that got translated to Spanish, and now it's quarantine. So just to know history like that is interesting, I think. And these are some resources for older children. And then this is something that I had done with my kids when they were little. These are mini tafsir books. They are for the Juz Amma. There are some that are for older children as well, and they're downloadable PDF if you don't want to order them. And then you can sample these books also. They have, like, I think 6 or 7 pages of each book that you can sample. So each surah is an activity book, and then you can go through it, like maybe for 2 or 3 days, or you could use a week. And they're very helpful, and they reinforce what the meaning of the surah, the historical context that the surah was in, and it's just an amazing resource, especially now if you could download it. So these are kind of my, not to be overwhelmed, I didn't include a lot of things, but these are just my top things that I do, and I know a lot of my friends do also, is a Quran, Sunnah, Dua, something to do with the kids, and just reminders, so that you're not overwhelmed, but you are also connected. And that's about it. And do watch out for MIA's virtual programming. So thank you.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Tasneem.
I need to stop sharing my screen, right?
Yes, please.
There, done.
Okay. And can you just give us a bit of a preview of what to expect in terms of the virtual programs that MIA will be offering?
Yes, so we will have a ladies tajweed class, hopefully. We have activities for kids, which will probably be in the afternoons on Sundays. We will have dua for children, and Taj's prophet stories are going to continue. And we're working on getting maybe the cooking streamed, where we have a culture half-hour prep maximum, nothing complicated, that everybody can do once a week. We also have the regular Quran that Sheikh Ammar does. And we are working on one or two other things like a tafsir for surah, I think Hujurat it is. I don't know the surah, but like a tafsir of a particular surah. That we're going to do. One other thing that I forgot to mention was there is a couple of lectures that I listened to, tafsir for surahs and the seerah of the Prophet. There are many lectures on YouTube regarding those series. One that I listened to is Yasir Qadi's Seerah of the Prophet. It's 104 1-hour lecture series. It is amazing and it is detailed. So you will not finish it in Ramadan, but if you could start, it's a very interesting. And the tafsir of the Quran also, he does some surahs, Surah Maryam and things like that. Those are amazing as well. So just YouTube, search for reputable scholars, please. And if you have a question, you can always email the fiqh committee at MIA to see, okay, is a scholar somebody that they would recommend? And maybe, you know, we could answer that. So.
Thank you so much, Sister Tasneem, for that. So inshallah, in Ramadan, we're looking forward to programs where we, through the MIA Virtual Mosque and Virtual Ramadan initiatives, will be Quran sessions for sisters and for everybody. There'll be some kids activities and there'll be some reminders and du'as, as well as streaming of Quran recitation, inshallah, and hopefully also some guest speakers that we're working on from outside of our community. So I think I'm going to try now to. So again, thank you, Tasneem, very much. I'm going to try to go to Hiba again and see if Hiba's connection has improved. I think she. So Hiba, we'd like to finish in the next 10 minutes, so if you can be succinct, please. But go ahead.
So just let me know if the connection is off.
So far, so good.
Okay. Knock on wood, inshallah. And so I just want to talk about the youth programming, inshallah, for Ramadan. So our goal this Ramadan, and we are currently working on it with 2 youth groups still.
Yeah. Okay, go for a couple more minutes. Let's test it again. Keep going.
Okay. And so we are currently trying to move all of our programs that we had initially planned virtually. Even though I just want to let you all know to just keep in touch with our social media, which is at MIA.youth.council on Instagram and on Facebook, and of course the main MIA account, and we'll be posting all of our events on there, and we'd love it for people to participate in that still.
Yeah, so I think we'll have to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it kind of came through that you're moving your MIA Youth Council programs online. So that's we think we got that, and inshallah maybe we'll schedule something again with you, inshallah, and with the other youth soon.
Sure.
Once we troubleshoot your connection problems, inshallah.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody for their time and their participation so patiently with us. This is a very helpful sessions for us to hear from the community and to share with you what we're working on. And I would like to turn things over to Brother Abdul Qassi again to lead us in concluding dua.
First of all, Jazakumullah khair jami'an. We enjoyed this session from everybody. Although Hiba's microphone it didn't do well, but the thought was there and the effort was there. So and we learned a lot from as usual from Sheikh Ismail. Jazakallah khair. And those websites you have mentioned, Sister Tasneem, they're very great and very beautiful. And I just wanted to I want to talk to you offline when you finish, if you can call me. For some issues I wanted to talk to you about at home. So we will close inshallah dua. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. اللهم إنا نستودعك هذه البلد وبلاد المسلمين كبارها وصغارها رجالها ونسائها شبابها وبناتها أرضها وسمائها. احفظنا يا رب العالمين، احفظنا من الوباء وارفع عنا البلاء يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعلنا واجعل الأمة الإسلامية في هذه الأيام المباركة تستقبل رمضان وأنت راض عنا جميعا وعن أهالينا وعن الأمة جمعاء. وكلنا حزانة على إغلاق الكعبة المشرفة والمسجد الحرام والمسجد الأقصى وكل مساجد المسلمين في أنحاء الأرض وأنحاء. اللهم نقي أيامنا من الهم والضيق والحزن وقلوبنا وعقولنا من الظلم على ما حل بنا بهذا العالم كله. اللهم افتح لنا أبواب السعادة والراحة واشرح صدورنا ويسر أمورنا. اللهم إنا نسألك فرجا لكل مهموم وشفاء لكل مريض ورحمة لكل ميت ومغفرة لكل مذنب وهداية لكل عبد ورزقا لكل محتاج واستجابة لكل دعاء. وصلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا وشفيعنا وقائدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه العز الغر الميامين. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا جميعا.
جزاك الله خير. اللهم آمين. جزاكم الله خير, everybody. Thank you so much. May Allah bless you. May you have a wonderful Ramadan. Inshallah, we'll connect together again soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.